In this video, we're going to talk to you about how to play the DeathGuard in Warhammer 40,000 10th edition. Hi, my name's Jake Harding from Vanguard Tactics. I'm joined today with Michael Costello. Michael, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, a bit sick, a bit infected, and all the other puns and so on that come with the DeathGuard.
Yes, the most diseased, Nurgle-ridden faction in all of Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, Nurgle gives them diseases.
Yes.
And then what they do with those diseases is they survive them, first of all.
Oh, good.
And then they spread them and give them to other people.
Oh.
And they experiment and see how many different diseases they can come up with.
How very thematic and cool and unhygienic. So obviously we're going to go through the army, each step by step, faction rules, detachment, all of that.
Yep.
So let's start with the faction rule. What is it?
But first,
oh no. Oh well.
we do have to thank Games Workshop.
Yes, we do.
For sending us all of the preview information so that we can release these videos and keep you in the loop with how to play DeathGuard.
Yes, so obviously a massive thank you to them. And yes, so Michael, what's the faction rule?
The faction rule is Gifts of Contagion. Okay, now what this means is that during the course of the game, we're going to have a contagion range for each of these DeathGuard units. And that's going to increase. Okay, so in the first battle round, it's going to be a contagion range of 3 inches. So if you're within 3 inches of a DeathGuard unit in the first battle round, you're going to subtract 1 from your toughness characteristic. Now, from the second battle round, it's going to be within 6 inches.
Okay.
And then for battle round 3, 4, and 5, it's going to be 9 inches. Okay, so if you're within 9 inches of any of this disgusting stuff, you're going to be -1 to your toughness characteristic.
Pretty good.
It's significant because toughness has changed. And in 10th edition, you're going to see vehicles of this really high toughness of like 9, 10, whereas the guns on some weapons are still only about 4 or 5. So when you're using a weapon that maybe is strength 5 and you're fighting something that's toughness 10, you're normally wounding on 6s because it's double your strength.
Yes.
But with contagion range in play, you'll drop it down to toughness 9, and then it's now 5s to wound. Yeah. So any way you can manipulate those rolls is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and even looking at it from the point of view of, you know, something that isn't as big, like a big tank or anything, like even a Marine, toughness 4, most weapons strength 4, -1 toughness, that's winning on 3s. It's pretty decent. Yeah.
Right, so the detachment rule for the DeathGuard is spread the sickness. What this means is if you are in control of an objective marker at the end of your command phase with a unit with this ability, so pretty much your whole army, then that objective marker is now considered to be under your control until your opponent takes it off you, okay, at the end of any turn. All right. That objective marker also now has its own contagion range and is considered to be infected. Oh, cool. Which triggers a few stratagems.
Okay, cool. That sounds pretty good. So the whole army pretty much has like that sticky objective style.
Yeah, it's great, and it really helps you take more big tanky units because you can just hold your objective with this special rule and then just move forward across the battlefield.
Yeah, no, that actually sounds pretty epic to be honest. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
So I guess next it's the stratagems.
Yeah, let's have a look at some stratagems.
But before we continue, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, The Outpost. If you're looking for great deals on your miniatures, paints and gaming supplies, we've got you covered. Their wide variety of exceptional service makes them the go-to destination for all hobby needs. So don't wait, check out The Outpost today. Link in the description below.
So Michael, let's talk about the first stratagem.
This one's called Ferric Blight.
Okay.
And you use this in your shooting or fight phase, or the fight phase.
The fight.
And you get an extra AP on all of your attacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're targeting someone who's in range of an infected objective marker, as we previously just covered, it's increased by 2 instead.
Okay, nice.
So that's pretty good. I mean, you've got lots of plague bolt guns and things in the army. So having an extra AP on all of those is very strong.
Yes.
And then also lots of your sort of the man reapers, your scythes and your bubotic weapons get an extra AP, pushing them to like AP 3. Nice. Also very, very strong. So yeah, good stratagem for one command point. Sanguous Flux is the next stratagem. And this one using the fight phase. Okay, and you select one of your units and they gain the Sustained Hits 1 ability on their attack. So any of their 6s are going to cause an additional hit. If your unit's in range of an infected objective marker, sustained hits 2 instead of a sustained hits 1.
Okay.
So all your 6s become 2 additional hits.
That's pretty good. You know, like the fact you have to be in range of the objective marker getting the 2 instead of the enemy unit. Pretty unique as well. So, you know, we really reward you for staying on those objectives anyway. They are just under your control.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a theme of defending your infected objectives with this army.
So yeah, let's see what the next stratagem is.
This is one that is a classic term that you'll hear with DeathGuard. This is called disgustingly resilient.
Okay.
And they use this in the fight phase only.
Yeah.
When a DeathGuard unit is targeted, until the end of the phase, you're going to subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of incoming attacks.
Nice. So yeah, classic. You know, used to be an army rule, now is a stratagem.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
It's 2 command points, so it's expensive.
Okay, so big trade-off.
So you're going to want to use this on units where it's really, really impactful. So like your Terminators with their 3 wounds each, probably the best place to use this stratagem, or on perhaps something big like Mortarion. That's another good place to use this stratagem.
Good point, didn't even think of it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about the next stratagem, which is Gifts of Decay.
Okay.
This is quite a cool one, actually. So, command phase, select one of your models, and you heal D3 wounds. So you recover D3 wounds back.
That's pretty simple.
If they're in range of an infected marker, flat 3.
Oh, nice. Okay, so pretty cheap, pretty cheerful. Could be used on maybe one of the vehicles, Mortarion himself.
Yeah.
Anything like that. Even some Terminators just to heal them up. Even a character,
Just 1 command point. So, and you can keep doing this. So maybe you've got a wounded unit or Mortarion got pretty badly hurt in the second battle round, and you've decided, oh, a couple of turns, I'm just going to wait and heal him, and he's going to come back out and do his stuff. Yeah. Next stratagem is Boil Blight. All right, now you use this one in the shooting phase. And this one's an interesting one. So what you do is you target an enemy unit that's in engagement range of, in contagion range of one of your units. Okay, so again, if that's the first battle round, that's 3 inches, second battle round, 6.
So on
3, that's 9, right?
Max 9, yeah.
So you use this, and then anybody else that shoots that target gets heavy, so +1 hit if they stay still, and ignores cover.
Wow, okay.
So ignores cover is pretty big. There's lots of ways to get the benefits of cover with terrain these days. So that's quite a nice stratagem, just 1 command point, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Again, really solid. The fact that it's being heavy as well, so it just incentivise you to stand still, shoot with that +1 to hit. Really solid there. Really big fan of that.
Yeah.
And then does that leave us with only one
more
left?
Yeah, 1 more. This one is Cloud of Flies.
Okay, another one.
Yeah, so you do this on one of your units when it's targeted.
Okay.
And it gives you the stealth special rule.
Nice.
So they're -1 to be hit from range attacks.
Nice.
So pretty straightforward. Pretty simple set of stratagems.
Yeah.
I would say they've all got their place.
Yes,
I think they're all good. I think some of them will require you to think a little bit more about which units benefit the most from it. But solid stratagems all round.
No, I really like those. They again, you know, like we've said with a lot of the other armies, you know, 6 really great stratagems, not really one there that seems really that lacking. So yeah, I guess we'll move on then to the enhancements.
With the release of Warhammer 40K 10th edition, at Vanguard Tactics, we've put together the perfect course for you. If you're already playing 9th edition, but you want to seamlessly transition into the new edition, leave behind everything you know about 9th and understand everything you need to know about 10th, then this short course is going to be ideal. We break down all the complexities and give you step-by-step guidance on how to really make the most from 10th edition. We're going to help you understand all the basics of the game and then some top tips along the way to help you really get the most from your army and your playing experience. And if that's something you want to do and get signed up on our short course, which you can study in your own time, then do check out the links below and get signed up to our accelerator program.
The first enhancement is the Living Plague.
Yes.
Okay. So you put this on your character, and that character increases their aura abilities by 3 inches, including Nurgle's gift, the gift of contagion. So that aura that was 3 in the first turn now becomes 6, or would become 9 in turn 2, and then 12 turn 3 onwards.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the way that can combine with some of the stratagems.
Yeah.
To help like the rest of your army. There's a fair bit of synergy there.
You just have that like one unit that's just like blanging it out within 12. So
Yeah.
No, I like
That's
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
pretty
cool. Yeah.
The next one is the droning, and this is an aura. Each time an enemy unit fails a battle shock test within 6 inches, you roll a dice, and on a 2 to 5 they take a mortal wound, and on a 6 they take D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay.
Right.
There's a little bit of a combo here with the Noxious Blightbringer with the big old bell on his back.
Oh, nice.
So he's got an aura. Well, if you're in contagion range of him, that is, then you're -2 to your battle shock tests.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty significant. And then, of course, if you do have this enhancement on him as well, then you could cause mortal wounds every time someone fails battle shock, which they probably will at -2. So yeah, I like that little combo.
I like that. That's all right as well. Yeah, like it's not bad, and yeah, I like that. It's nice seeing that character also have a bit of use as well because we haven't seen him for a while. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so the next one is Deadly Pathogens, and this gives you +1 attacks and +1 to your strength characteristic of your melee weapons.
Okay, cool.
Now, if your unit, the bearer rather, is within range of an infected objective marker, you get +2 attacks and +2 to your strength as well.
Okay, pretty nice, I guess.
Probably on a Lord of Contagion with a big Man Reaper. That's probably the best place for this one.
No,
It's not bad.
I like that. It's all right. You know, again, makes him a bit more hitty. But yeah, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's cool. And then we've got Shamble Rot, which means that if anybody wants to charge the bearer's unit, they are -2 to their charge.
Okay, that sounds.
That's
tasty.
pretty good.
I like that one.
That's pretty good. So if I'm looking at this, Shamble Rot is probably the auto include. I think that's a really strong ability to have on one of your units.
Yeah.
A good combo for this could be a unit of Terminators of some variety, using the Rapid Ingress core stratagem, and then arriving 9 inches from your enemy after they've moved, and then being -2 to charge. So you can land right in front of them, and if they do want to charge you, it's an 11-inch charge because you're 9 inches away.
Okay, yeah. No, again, like I think probably out of all of them, that's the one I like the most. I think just really keeps that unit safe from any deep strike shenanigans or even just any risky charges. You know, it's good. It's very good.
Yeah, cool. Right, shall we look at some units?
I think we should.
Let's take a moment to appreciate Colourforge, our fantastic sponsor. Their range of spray paints has become our go-to for making our miniatures come to life quickly and efficiently. The quality and variety of colours they offer are truly unmatched, providing a smooth application for stunning effects every time. Check out Colourforge for your next hobby project.
Well, of course, we have to talk about Mortarion himself, the Primarch of the DeathGuard.
The big dog.
Now, he clocks in at toughness 12 with a 2-up save and 16 wounds.
Okay.
That's the same stat line as a Land Raider.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's faster and he flies,
Nice.
and he has the Feel No Pain 5+ ability as well.
Okay, pretty decent that
So
actually.
he is pretty decent. He doesn't have the towering keyword either. So if you're familiar with previous editions, Mortarion could be seen through sort of buildings and stuff. Now he can actually hide and then fly around and hit people.
Okay, I like that actually. Really nice.
Speaking of hitting people, he's got 5 attacks, hitting and 2s, of course. Strength 14, AP 3, flat 4 damage. So if you want to get rid of a vehicle or something, he will do your whatever you want.
I think he's the guy you need to do it, right?
Or if there's a horde, he can have 15 attacks that are only damage 1, but he'll do the business in that regard. He does have a psychic shooting attack that's devastating wounds as well.
Oh, cool.
But only damage 1, but D6 plus 3 shots, get a few mortal wounds out of it.
Yes, it's all right. Like as I said, he's got his pistol as well with a lantern that can do some damage. He's overall he's okay, and he does stuff. So.
He does do stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of that stuff. So in your command phase, you can pick one of 3 different abilities. Okay, one of them is to get the benefits of cover to friendly units within 6 inches.
Okay.
Very good on power armor.
Yeah, really good actually.
So yeah, very nice on 2-up save Terminators as well. When your opponent starts having AP on their guns, he can also, instead of that, do reroll 1s to wound for all of their attacks.
Okay, yeah.
Also good.
That's good.
And then the final one you can do is increase the contagion range of all of those units by 3. So if you want to increase your range for maybe the purpose of stratagems, or just to decrease the toughness of the enemy army, then you can go for that one instead.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely think they all have some form of play. The cover one seems really good
Yes.
because of the slow-moving army it is.
Yes.
And then obviously, like you said, the increasing the contagion range is super powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think he's all right.
He's got one more ability,
Okay.
which is Lord of the Death Guard, which means within 6 inches, all of those Death Guard units are going to ignore any or all modifiers to their characteristics, except saving throws.
Okay, yeah. So again, like movement penalty,
Exactly.
to wound to hit.
Yes.
Like battle shock. Really like that.
Yeah.
Really
Slow moving army, you really want to avoid being like -2 to move any of those abilities. So a nice little aura for Mortarion to have.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Well, let's have a look at some more of the characters. The Malignant Plaguecaster I want to cover because I think he's one of the best characters on foot available to the Death Guard. So he's got a psychic sort of like a smite, like a shooting attack, but it's torrent, so it automatically hits.
Oh, nice.
And it's D3 damage, AP2, D6 plus 3 shot. So it's actually pretty nasty.
Yeah, that sounds like, so far, that sounds like the best gun I've
Coming
heard.
out of this guy, yeah. And he's got an ability where if he hits and wounds with it, so scores a wound, doesn't necessarily go through the armour, but if it scores a wound against an infantry unit, then that infantry unit is -2 to its move characteristic, and it's -2 to its advance and charge rolls.
Okay, that's...
So he murders things and slows them down at the same time.
He's not bad, is he?
And then he's got another psychic ability in the shooting phase. On a 1, he takes D3 more wounds, but on a 2+, he is going to make an enemy unit within 18 -1 to wound you in melee.
Okay, yeah, that's actually really good. So, like, I really like him actually.
Yeah.
Considering like, I think Mortarion's really good, but he's quite big. Whereas, maybe just having more of him.
But I
like having
he's
lots
very
of him.
good. He's very good. And obviously, when you've got toughness 5 Plague Marines that he can join, or toughness 6 Terminators, making your opponent -1 to wound against them is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
This guy I think goes straight in the list. Next is the Lord of Contagion. We spoke about Terminators being toughness 6 for the Death Guard. This guy obviously is a Terminator and toughness 6. So this guy is perfect for leading them because he gives the unit he's leading re-roll hit rolls for their melee weapons. Okay,
solid.
So some lovely consistency. A lot of the weapons across the Death Guard have the lethal hits special rule, which means any of their 60s to hit automatically wound. So having this re-roll to hit available just amplifies that so much. In addition to that, if he takes wounds in engagement range on 4-ups, he does mortal wounds back to the enemy, which is cool.
Yeah.
And he does come in with 5 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 8, -2, flat 3 damage. So he can punch as well.
Yeah, he seems like a really good sort of beat stick hero. Like you said, he can join the sort of Terminator equivalents of the army, which we'll go into, and they are quite tasty as well.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I like him. He's a solid little hero, isn't he?
Yep, he certainly is. Let's go straight into one of those Terminator variants. The Death Shroud Terminators. Some of the most intimidating Death Guard Terminators that you'll see across the table from you. These guys, when a character's in their unit, if the strength of an attack is higher than their toughness, 6, then it's -1 to wound.
Nice. We've seen that rule a few times, so it's great to see it on this army.
Yeah, so put a Lord of Contagion in there, and you'll be very happy. 3 wounds each, toughness 6, 2+ save, and a similar damage profile to the Lord of Contagion means these guys will go around and smack stuff and not die.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's pretty solid. They've got some good melee in themselves, and the ability for the Lord of Contagion allow them to reroll hits.
Yeah.
Solid. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, all right, well, let's have a look at some more Death Guard Terminators. The next Terminator is a character that I want to talk about, which is the Death Guard Sorcerer in Terminator armor.
Oh, nice.
So this one, a bit of a rarer sight in previous editions, but I think you'll definitely be wanting to take one now. What this guy can do, he's got a psychic ability. At the start of the fight phase, you can pick an enemy unit within 18 inches, okay, and on a 2+, whenever that unit targets your unit with an attack, you subtract 1 from the damage characteristic.
Nice.
Pretty good.
That's really good considering obviously you've got things like discussion resilience as well, and it's like a free discussion resilience.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, really good. Works well with Blightlord Terminators, and also has another ability. Once per game, he can add 2 to the attacks characteristic and damage characteristic of his weapon. You can give it a power fist and all sorts. So you can punch real hard once per game.
Like me, he's punching. Like he seems like he's a fantastic unit, and yeah, maybe a borderline auto include with all these Terminators we've got.
Yeah, I think so. And you're going to stick him with some Blightlord Terminators. These guys get to reroll 1s to wound with their ranged weapons, but they do come with a plethora of excellent combat weapons. They've got bubotic weapons with loads of attacks, AP 2 and damage 1, and then you've got the Flail of Corruption, which is more attacks and damage 2.
Nice.
So you get, and of course they're pretty tough as well. Yeah. So that's some of our Terminators. Let's talk about a couple more characters and round off this DeathGuard review. So there's a couple of characters, and I do want to say with DeathGuard, a lot of the infantry characters can join Plague Marines. That's pretty much it. But a lot of them can sort of be paired with another character when they join the unit. So you could have a Plague Caster and a Biologist Putrefier join the same unit.
Which is nice.
Which is very nice, very nice. So the Biologist Putrefier is the one I wanted to talk about. This is the guy that throws grenades and specialises in that kind of thing. He gives his units attacks, lethal hits, okay? So any of the weapons that don't have it, they're going to get lethal hits. And in addition, they'll get critical hits on hit rolls of 5+.
Very nice.
So this is great for combining with that stratagem for sustained hits.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you've got a little bit of a combo going there, and especially if you're standing on an objective that is infected, you'll get sustained hits too, in addition to lethal hits.
Yeah.
So you got, that's pretty cool. But remember, of course, sustained hits won't sort of stack in that way. So any of your 6s, so your 5 to hit with this guy is going to be an automatic wound with that dice roll of a 5, and then you're going to put 2 hits into the pool, but you still have to roll with those 2.
Yeah, which is still great though. Like that combo scene could be really devastating into like, I don't know, like maybe like a Space Marine unit or something like that, or even maybe a big tank, because it's just the amount of lethal hits you could produce. So yeah, really interesting to see that.
Yep, and then he's got a once per game ability. You can use the grenade stratagem from the core book on this model for free, 0 CP.
Wow.
Even if you've already used it on a different unit.
Okay, so again, you could like double stack grenades onto a unit, try and just kill it with mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Failing that, you could just you could just use it if you didn't have any CP because you need your CP elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, really decent. Really like this guy. Yeah, like I said, like you said in that unit of Plague Marines, he could be pretty gnarly.
Very good, yeah, very good. And just in case you don't know what the grenade stratagem does, basically you roll 6 dice. You pick an enemy unit within 8 inches. Roll 6 dice, and each 4+ is a mortal wound. So you could do that with this guy and another unit. And you could potentially have more than one of these doing it as well during the battle. And it's a great way of getting around armor saves and toughness and that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice one.
So another great character for the DeathGuard is, of course, the Foul Blightspawn. That's the one.
Nice.
Classic.
He is
Everybody
awesome.
used to hate him from the previous edition. In this edition, he's pretty scary as well.
Yeah, I think he's always been consistently scary.
So he's going to give the unit he's in the Fights First ability.
Oh, very nice.
Okay, which means that unit is going to fight during the first step of the fight phase. And remember that you always start with the player who is not taking the turn, which means if you charge his unit, they will hit you before you hit them.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Really
now,
nice.
we've not gone into a lot of detail about the Plague Marines, but these guys have a plethora of weapons available to them. You can kit them out with shooting attacks, or you can have heavy plague weapons, which are like Strength 8, AP 2 damage. So these guys can punch in combat.
Yeah, really hard.
So combining him with those guys and the Plague Caster, you've got a lot of good stuff going for you with these big units of Plague Marines. Finally, I want to talk about the Plague Burst Mortar, another classic DeathGuard unit. This one fires indirectly with its Plague Burst Mortar.
Very nice.
Now, this is D6 plus 3 shots. It's Blast, Strength 8, AP 1, flat 2 damage. And it has an ability where if it hits an infantry unit, then that infantry unit has to take a battle shock test after we finish firing.
Okay, interesting. So again, with battle shock being quite a heavy thing in this edition,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. The indirect on it as well, to maybe deal with other pesky indirects from other armies that we've seen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even the infantry cannons, those sort of like dealing with tanks.
Yeah, strength 10.
Yeah.
Strength 10, and the d6 +1 damage as well.
Yeah, so you could have him poking out, seeing a tank, shooting that, and then his mortar could maybe go elsewhere. So
Yeah, agreed.
I like that. I think he's cool.
Yeah. All right, well, that is a whole bunch of DeathGuard units. There are other fantastic choices in there. You've got the drones for killing vehicles. They get +1 a wound against vehicles.
Haulers,
the blight haulers, so they're fantastic. But I think the main core of your army is probably going to be Plague Marines, and then a bunch of Terminators and a few supporting assets as well. Typhus, obviously, definitely have a look at him. He can go with Poxwalkers and buff them.
Okay, cool.
He's very, very interesting. But overall, you've got a lot to play with the DeathGuard. Some of their stratagems may not seem as strong as some of the other indexes out there, and some of their enhancements might not as well. But on their data sheets, you've got plenty to work with. And sticky objectives, as we've mentioned, lowering the toughness of enemy units is going to be fantastic for how the army wants to play.
Of course.
Speaking of how the army wants to play, in terms of missions, we've got our fixed missions and our tactical missions. Now, we do have some smaller units that can go around and do things like the plague drones that can hover around and do different things. Those might be a good choice if you want to look at the tactical missions. But I think fixed is probably the way to go with DeathGuard. They have these very almost immovable units that want to push onto objectives and stay there. So maybe you can look at storming hostile objectives, taking objectives off your opponent, or just destroying some of these larger models, making use of that handy contagion range of reducing toughness.
Very good. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that the sort of fixed missions is really good for the DeathGuard army. It's very slow moving. You don't want to have to try and change game plan up a lot. You just want to be able to tick with that. Whereas obviously that's sort of the tactical missions, you have to be able to be a bit flexible. And not saying they can't, but you just don't want to have to be put in that awkward position. Right? So,
Absolutely. And do be wary when you're playing against other people. The secondary assassinate is quite easy to pick against DeathGuard if you put a lot of characters in there. And there is kind of an emphasis on characters with DeathGuard.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
just be wary of that and don't put too many in, or at least protect them a bit better during the game.
Yeah.
Well, if you've enjoyed our video and learned plenty about the DeathGuard and their ways, we wish you luck using them in the new edition. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Let us know whether you'll be using the DeathGuard, whether you'll be taking Mortarion, and which of the little characters is your favourite. And we will see you in our next video.